Well, I guess you could say that Ken Mode is locked and loaded, ready to hit the road with their new album, Loved. So thanks a lot to Jesse and Scott, and like, where's Shane right now?
Shane's picking merch. He's got important things he has to do.
Most important. So first of all, congratulations, guys, on the new album. But let's talk, I guess, about it. First of all, the cover is very dark. Jesse.
You'll have to blame Randy Ortiz for that. Him and his relationship with sleep paralysis is the inspiration for that ugly guy right there.
Oh, okay. So the album is called Loved, but definitely don't expect any love ballads on this one.
Well, there isn't. I think that factors in a little bit. I just think that our relationship with those types of feelings is a little more complicated than it is with other people.
Yeah, but definitely, I guess,
I think
yeah.
it's just as complicated with other people. They just don't want to admit it.
Okay, all right. Going on tour now. You guys have been doing this for almost 20 years, Jesse.
Too long.
Yeah?
Foolish.
Yeah?
Time
And
to
then
get-
going on the road.
Yeah, time to get a real job, right, Scott?
Okay, which, by the way, all of you do have real jobs. So we were discussing as you were loading up the truck, right? You're having a little angst about leaving your real full-time job to go on the road?
Well, the funny thing is, I think that compared to a lot of other bands, we actually we enjoy our day jobs and our there's lots of we're not the same. We don't feel hard done by necessarily, but it isn't tenable to make niche corner of the market weird music and not have another income stream or one at all, because I think you could scarcely refer to weird outsider noise metal as an income source.
You agree with that, Jesse?
Yeah. Although I was fortunate enough from 2010 through 2016 to have lived a rock and roll fantasy camp where Shane and I, Scott joined us in 2014, so we kind of got the tail end of our fantasy camp there where we were doing it as a full-time job. Shane and I basically managing our band, and that was how we ate. Granted, we ate very lean and lived very meager lives. But Scott kept working while we were doing that touring.
And he was smart.
Yeah, and now Shane and I do that for other bands, so that's how we make our living. But the wild part for these dates will be whether or not we can actually maintain our client work while we're on the road. And I think we're hiring a driver, so hopefully we'll be able to pull it off. So we'll see. That's one of the things. We're kind of holding off on what we want to do for 2019 until we know that we can survive this run first, or at least part way through. Then we'll get a handle on, okay, maybe we'll want to tweak that. Maybe we'll want to hire another person to help with this sort of thing so we can dedicate more time to our day job during the day. We'll see.
I just think that you need a chef to go on tour with you, just to make sure that you eat properly.
That would be very nice. Or even if they had skipped the dishes in every city, so we could show up to the venue and just deliver good food. Yeah. We got better at that since Yelp became a thing, because you could show up to towns and you'd look up, all right, where's a place worth me actually eating, rather than just going to Arby's or something like that.
Right.
So at least then we got to find out where all the best Mexican joints were in every city across the states.
And that's so important.
It really, truly is. Mexican and barbecue.
And I can see how that would fuel the passion to do Ken Mode music sets there. I see the connection. With the sound and the music now, because everybody wants something new. You're always trying to reinvent the wheel. But I guess, what's Ken Mode's secret?
We're just trying to entertain ourselves. I think to a degree, I don't have a lot of patience or attention, and I have a tendency to get bored easily. And if we're not tweaking things and making things different every time, I don't want to do it. And we've joked about that a lot on the press for this album too, because people keep commenting on how we change from album to album, and it's like we don't have any, we don't feel any sense that we have to appease fans, because we're not Slayer, we're not a big band. when you're the type of band that sells maybe a few thousand copies of a record, like you're not eating because of the music. So we're clearly doing this for another reason and making the same album over and over and over again. What the hell is the point of that if you're trying to artistically appease something within you? I don't know. I need something more than that. Otherwise, there's no point to doing this anymore.
For me, the difference between me and the guys is I've still been touring with my other bands while this has been going on, and so I don't know that I'm going to have as much of a shock to my system going into this. I'm a lot more comfortable when I'm able to tour regularly, so I think I'm without going into it, I'm going through some things right now, and I'm going to feel better for having been able to go out and do this, because this is more pertinent than anything else I'm doing right now. It's an absolute necessity to me right now to be out, and I'm excited about this record. It's funny because, speaking of what Jesse was talking about earlier, when we were in the middle of trying to I established what the sound was going to be like for this record. A lot of it was us laughing and going, man, people are going to hate this. And I'm looking forward to seeing whether they are or not. Because so far the reception of the record's been great, but we're still attacking people with this record. It's still part of the...
Well, yeah, judging by the cover, you're stating something.
Yeah. And I if people can get with what we're doing, that's fantastic. But if they are made uncomfortable by it, it's only going to be worse seeing us doing it live. And I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like, because we don't know yet.
Well, I think you should have costumes. I think you should be like that cover there. So, Jesse, it was interesting because Scott said, like, oh, you guys are laughing. People are going to hate this. Does that bother you when people don't like your music or critics say that sucks?
No, because they're not the audience that it's meant for. Because frankly, the only audience this is meant for is Shane, Scott, and I. Anyone else enjoying it, that's just icing on the cake. We don't make this for anyone. We don't put all the time and money into it because we expect it to pay off. We want to make something that makes us feel something, and that's really all that matters.
So I want to ask you, Jesse, now with your other job, when you're managing bands, is there a greater pride, or is there a different sense of pride when you can support a band and see it grow to a success, and then when you're on stage performing?
We've always joked that we're not cool, because we're not. And
that's entirely true. I can confirm that.
Scott's cool, on the other hand, though.
But now our day jobs, we actually get paid to not be cool and do things that not cool people do, and bands appreciate us for it.
So that's
And
cool.
It's a very important part of the music industry, arguably the most important, shy of the actual content creators, but you have to keep those wheels on the track, right? But it's funny that it's just such a different flip side to the industry. And I've always felt like that's one of the things that hurt our band from an actual industry perspective, is that we're intrinsically not cool. We're not good at schmoozing. We don't party and hang out after the shows, and that's how a lot of people make the relationships that get them better tours. That and our music is inherently antisocial, because we're just not that type of person. I'd say it is very satisfying seeing clients grow and succeed in a way that our band never could. And acknowledging it's because they're playing different types of music. But even then, like we have clients like bands like Gorguts that is just insane technical, creative death metal, and the fact that bands like that can make enough money to live off of it is the coolest thing ever. And we've had a part in helping raise funding for them so they can do it full time, which is, I just think, the coolest thing in the world.
Break a few hearts there along the road.
Like our own.
Like your own. All right,
Those
well.
are the only ones that break.
Aw, no, you know what? These guys are really, really nice. And they are cool. Ken Road, your new album, loved. You gotta love it.